They flew in most of the 6,000 dealers and guests by chartered planes. All day Monday, the runways at Love Field were busy receiving planes from every part of the United States and Canada. The crowd started arriving early by bus, by taxi, and on foot. Quite a sight. 6,000 people pouring into an auditorium, and most of them anticipating important news that would affect their business lives. Next morning, the show was to start in the big Civic Auditorium, a beautiful new building on the edge of the business section.
It is with great pride that we identify the next spokesman for John Deere, who will bring you the big news of our next step into the future. John Deere's 6th president, Mr. William A. Hewitt.
Welcome to Deere Day in Dallas, and cheers for the job you have done. Today you'll hear about, perhaps cheer about, what's in store for 61. We hope it's a day you'll remember, a memory you'll often recall. So welcome to Deere Day in Dallas. You're welcome, one and all.
Probably the biggest hit of the parade was the 4010 row crop tractor. It drew plenty of comment from the dealers and guests. Last tractor in the parade was the 8010, carrying the smallest, the 1010, on a lift attached to its 3-point hitch. From the Coliseum, we moved out into a 15-acre lot that looked like a circus grounds. What a sight that was. 6,000 people getting their hands on the new tractors and equipment for the first time.
Today's video is going to be based upon the new generation of tractors introduced by John Deere in August of 1960, and it really took the world and the agricultural market by storm. But in order to tell you a little bit about that, I have to back up about 10 years. In 1953, Charles Deere Wyman was the great-grandson of John Deere, and he started working on the line at the John Deere factory for 15 cents an hour, and he worked there until World War II broke out, and he was recommissioned in the military, and he was on the war production board. And then following the close of World War II, he went back to Deere, and he was their CEO and president. Following World War II, it was a time of rapid growth and economic development. A lot of technology that had been researched throughout World War II was able to be developed. And one of the things that John Deere realized early on in the 1950s was that this two-cylinder engine, while it was very reliable and very easy to maintain, John Deere salesmen, they had touted the two-cylinder engine as superior to anything else, the 4- or 6-cylinder engines, because the parts were bigger, there were less parts, it was easier to maintain, anybody could work on it, and that was true for the most part. But as the 50s progressed, Deere realized this venerable engine could only be developed just so much. To get more horsepower, they'd have to build it bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just wasn't practical anymore. So they realized that the day of the two-cylinder engine was coming to an end. And so what Charles Deere Wyman did is he, around 1950, had them take some GM diesel motors and stick them in a tractor much like this one. And they made some mock-ups and did some testing. And then in 1953, he decided to pull the trigger and said, we just can't continue this tractor. We're number 2 behind International, which has been fine thus far, but we want to be number 1. And up until that point, John Deere was happy to be number 2. They had 23% of the market share. They let International Harvester, who was number 1, be the icebreaker. They kind of would follow on the coattails of International. So if International introduced something new, they would let it run its course a little bit, and then Deere would jump in and kind of copy it, which was pretty common back then. But John Deere also knew that they wanted to be number one, and so it was a risky decision. But he said, we're going to make a new tractor, and we're going to start from scratch. So what he did is in Waterloo, Iowa, he got an old supermarket, and he commissioned some of the best engineers that could be found, and he isolated them to this, what they called the meat market. And what they did was they designed a new tractor from the ground up, and it ended up being 93% all brand new parts. So it was a major revolution in tractors. It wasn't an evolution. The A to the 60 to the 620 to the 630 was an evolution. This was a revolution, because there was really nothing on this tractor that was carried over to the new generation tractors. So Deere was faced with a real problem. They had to come up with a brand new tractor and simultaneously update the line of tractors they had now, because they didn't want to slip to number 3 or number 4. So they had to keep up the line of tractors that they currently were producing. So they had to have a whole group of engineers and designers and the manufacturing devoted to upgrading the 2-cylinder tractor, while also making the design and the implementation of a whole new tractor using all new parts. Miraculously, John Deere was able to keep this in total secrecy. It was really a phenomenon because they had these tractors and they didn't sound like the new tractors. The 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder engines do not sound like a 2-cylinder engine. You can hear this thing a mile away when it's working. A 4 or 6-cylinder engine like my farmhouse, you can barely hear them outside, the operating area. So amazingly, nobody realized that John Deere was coming up with new motors. What did kind of clue in a few people was there was one instance where a John Deere dealer had a brother who sold gears, and the gears were being bought by John Deere. And so this brother went to his brother, who was the dealer, and said, we got a huge order from John Deere for these gears. And so the dealer looked at him, he's like, these don't fit anything that we currently have out there. So he was just kind of curious and nothing else became of it, because what John Deere did is they knew that if they kept sourcing all the same parts from the same person or the same company, that it would give away that something was up. So John Deere kept sourcing parts from different places, and that was really an intelligent and wise decision, because nobody was the wiser of what was happening. Early on in the 1930s, John Deere had employed Henry Dreyfuss. Henry Dreyfuss was an architect, and he did a lot of Art Deco. He was responsible for some of the New York Central train locomotives and some buildings and things. But he was very well renowned as an architect. And so John Deere had employed him in the 30s to come up with this design here. This is what they called the styled John Deere tractors. And so what they had done is they already had the tractor, and so he just kind of prettied it up and made it look better. But in the 50s, they re-employed Henry Dreyfuss's firm and said, you got a blank sheet of paper, so come up with something that's aesthetically pleasing. And John Deere knew that the more aesthetically pleasing the tractor was, the more apt someone was to buy it. Now, for example, if you had a tractor ideally they had the same horsepower, they were the same price, the person would buy the one that looked better. And the joke was, especially if the wife was along, well, that's not really a joke, because women like things that look nice, and I kind of agree. And so that came back later on in John Deere. A lot of the times they would make things that were aesthetically appeasing to both male and female customers. Now this was a really, really big project, because they had to come up with all new hydraulics, a motor, transmissions, clutches, brakes, all of it. And John Deere's new tractor had brakes that ran in oil. The frame of the tractor, the rear end of the tractor, had a hydraulic reservoir, which was unheard of. It actually was the lubrication for the rear end. It was the hydraulic system. It was the brakes. It was all of it. And it was a closed center system it ran at 2,000 psi. Now, no other tractor manufacturer at that point was running 2,000 psi. International had like 1,000 psi at that time. So this was really a big thing. And so Henry Dreyfuss, he designed this new tractor, the 20 series tractor, or the 10 series tractor, I'm sorry. He had several different mock-ups before Deere agreed upon one, and unfortunately Charles Deere Wyman passed away in 1955, so the project had kind of stagnated a little bit because he had been ill. But his son-in-law, Bill Hewitt, Bill Hewitt with fervor re-engaged that project to its fullest extent. John Deere hauled some of these new 10 series tractors to different locations in the country, and they had to like put mock-ups on the sides, you know, cardboard and steel and things to kind of hide what the tractor looked like, and they tried them in different situations. Now every part of that tractor had to be tested, retested. If it didn't work, they had to come up with a new design, and understand that back in the middle 50s computers weren't really a thing, and John Deere had bought a brand new central computer back at their main office. And so the architects and the engineers back then, they had to figure out gear ratios, and they would go out to the 8th decimal place, and sometimes that would take them 4 hours. And these guys were genius mathematicians. And finally one engineer said, you know what, I'm going to drive 3 hours back to John Deere's headquarters where the computer is and see if we can get a program in there that will make these calculations. And so the calculations that were taking them 4 hours, the computer was doing in 15 minutes. John Deere really put a lot of effort, particularly in the 4010 and 3010, and they put some in the 2010 and 1010, but as you may remember, the 1010 and 2010 had some issues early on. And one of the issues that John Deere had was that the 2010, the gear ratios were kind of screwy, and back then they didn't use helical gears, everything was a square cut gear, and so there was a ton of noise in the transmission, and it didn't really occur when the tractor was just tooling around, but when you put it under load, then the gear whine and the grind was intolerable, and John Deere was getting close to crunch line, so they had to come up with a new solution. And just by a hunch, one of the engineers decided to make them helical, which has a taper on it, so they run together a little bit more at an angle instead of, you know, square. And that really quieted the issue, and they had done everything they could to quiet that noise besides pack it with sawdust. And amazingly, his gut instinct to make them helical was a success. John Deere put everything on the line with this new 10 series tractor. They were number two. People knew that these two-cylinder engines were reliable. They knew what they could count on. John Deere had a huge factory that was producing these tractors. Now they had to shut the factory down for 6 months to retool all the machinery to make the new tractor. So what John Deere did is they stockpiled about 6 months worth of machinery outside, and people were kind of like, you know, why is there so much stuff out here? But nobody understood, nobody was the wiser, nobody realized that John Deere had come up with a new tractor. And so in August 1960, everybody went to Dallas, and it was like a dealer's convention, so they brought the tractors out on parade. And John Deere had no less than 13 new tractors. Now there were four numbers. There were the 1010, 2010, 3010, and 4010, but you had utility, you had row crop, you had crawler, you had all kinds of different variations, narrow front end, wide front end, and you had the standard version, which was the Wheatland version. You had all these options. And one thing Henry Dreyfuss had done was he had employed a physician, and her name was Janet Travel. And she became really famous later on in the 60s because she was John F. Kennedy's personal physician. But what she did is she just knew how to put a seat together, and just by gut instinct and feel, she knew where the armrest should be, she knew where all the padding should go, and John Deere came out with that brand new seat, which was actually carried out at least through the 1980s, because I know that we've had them on our 1980s tractors. And that seat was just so comfortable. It has outclassed anything that was available at the time. John Deere really underestimated the amount of people who would want a cab on the tractor, so they didn't introduce a cab with the 10 series tractor, but it wasn't very long into it before aftermarket companies were building cabs for the John Deere tractor. And it wasn't until 1972 that John Deere came out with the SoundGuard tractor with air conditioning and all the great things about the SoundGuard cab that I'll talk to you about in a future video. But John Deere did not offer a cab initially, so they were putting aftermarket cabs on. They were loud, they were clunky, but they were still pretty much on par with what was available at the time. But again, John Deere put everything on the line with this new 10 series tractors, and it had to be in complete secrecy because, I mean, personally, if there was a tractor that was like this, and that cost me $2,200 back in 1955 or whatever, and the next day I could go out and buy a 1010 for the same amount of money, that was more comfortable, had all the new features, I'm pretty sure that I would not buy this tractor. I would buy the new one just because of the comfort and convenience associated with it. So John Deere didn't want to risk their number 2 position. They didn't want to screw that up. And so people, if they knew that a new tractor design was coming, they would, forego buying a new tractor, or even worse, go to the competition and buy a tractor there. So they had to keep that in total secrecy. But I really feel like if in 1960 I'd bought a brand new 730 tractor for $4,000 or whatever it was, and then a month later they came out with a 4010, I don't think I'd be too happy. I think I would be like I got duped. So anyway, I've got some John Deere original sales video, and I've got some John Deere sales advertisements and information to show you. So I really hope you enjoy the video. I appreciate you watching, and if you haven't already, please take a moment and subscribe to the channel. Let's get on to the John Deere advertising. I realize I have the wrong hat on for this video, but I don't have a John Deere toque, so this is what I got. Looking at all the information I have, I've got so much of it, I've decided I'm going to spread this over 2, maybe even 3 videos. The average attention span of an American these days is about 8 seconds, so I don't think anybody will follow me to the end if I go over an hour, or over even half an hour. So we're probably looking at about 2, maybe 3 videos. One more thing of note, and I've mentioned this on my Mahindra tractor too, is they put the shift lever right in the fender, so every time you get off with the coat you get snagged. And John Deere had done that with their PTO lever on the 10 series. One of the execs came out from Waterloo to the meat market to go sit on a tractor, and when he got up he ripped his suit coat from stem to stern pretty much. And so, in not so many words, the engineers redesigned the PTO lever on the 4010, 3010. I wish Mahindra had watched some of the history of these things before they built these new tractors. As I was watching some of the video that I'm going to show you, every few seconds there's a pause and a beep, and at first I couldn't remember or understand why that was a thing on a video. And then I remembered that these are slides, and when this was put together originally, these were on little slides on a slide projector, and there was either a record or a tape deck in the vicinity. So the person would be clicking through the slides, and then there'd be a pause and a beep, and that person would know that that was the time to click to the next slide. And I just remembered that from like elementary school. So you'll see a slide, they'll talk about it, a tone, pause, and then another slide, tone, pause, etc. So that's just the background behind that as far as I can tell.
Make no mistake about it, these tractors belong on many operations, and they'll measure up to the big boys in years of dependable service. There's 35 PTO horsepower in the all-new John Deere built 4-cylinder variable speed engines, both gasoline and diesel. 35 horsepower that's just itching to make itself useful. Take this 1010 utility. It's low built, about knee-high to many tractors. That's why it's a better operator inside barns and sheds, in orchards, groves, and vineyards. Its short wheelbase makes the turning radius short for easy handling in cramped quarters, too. And it's a stable tractor, one that walks or runs on steep hillsides. The 1010 utility is just the ticket for loading, hauling, haying, and other field work. That's why you're going to see it at work on many sizes and types of farms, as the #1 power unit on smaller operations, and as the economical handyman on larger places. Now, when it comes to precision cultivating, the new 1010 single row crop gives the small acreage farmer and specialty crop growers many distinct advantages. Its economical 35 horsepower is more than ample for all conditions. Its 21-inch crop clearance and offset design make fast, thorough, precise work easy, even in tall, bushy crops. But the real gems in the 1010 tractor surprise packages are the new 35 horsepower 4-cylinder variable speed engines, gasoline or diesel, take your choice. These engines are brand new, yet fully field-proofed. They provide you with an efficient working range from low to full throttle for light or heavy work. For light jobs, such as mowing or rotary hoeing, the engine loafs along at 1,500 revolutions per minute, giving you maximum economy of fuel. When you advance the engine to 2,500 RPM, you'll handle heavy tillage work or other big power jobs. A 1010 tractor readily pulls a 3-bottom plow in practically all soils. This is the 1010 diesel engine. It's a new power package, Deere designed and precision built. A special turbulence chamber and related parts give you top efficiency through the wide range of working speeds. Pistons are 4-ring type of aluminum alloy for extra good heat dissipation. On the 1010 diesel engine, the rotor-type fuel injection pump, shown here in cutaway view, assures accurate metering of fuel. Gasoline engines are equipped with updraft carburetors. With the handy throttle located on the steering wheel shaft, you have full control of the speed of your engine. The throttle and transmission shift lever shown here work as a team. You have a complete range of speeds for efficient handling of all types of equipment. The transmission has 5 forward gears and 1 reverse. With the variable speed engine, this combination provides ground speeds from 1.5 miles per hour to nearly 15 miles per hour. These are overlapping speeds in most cases. For example, in second gear, you have a speed range from about 2 3/4 to 4.5 miles per hour. In third gear, the range varies from 3.5 to nearly 6 miles per hour. The engine clutch is built for durability and heavy-duty service. It's operated by the left foot. Brakes are individual self-energizing disc type. They are actuated in part by motion of the tractor. You can operate the pedals together for positive braking action on both wheels. 1010 row crop and utility tractors are regularly equipped to provide a 540 RPM transmission-driven power takeoff. The live independent power takeoff shown here is optional. It operates at either 540 or 1,000 RPM. When the PTO lever is in the rear position, as illustrated here, the clutch is disengaged and the PTO is not operating. Pushing the lever forward engages the clutch. A reversible stub shaft fits into one or the other of 2 splined couplings to provide a power takeoff operating at either 540 or 1,000 RPM. The right coupling provides a power shaft speed of 540 RPM, operating speed for most PTO machines now in use. The left coupling operates at 1,000 RPM, the new standard speed for PTO machines. Fast, smooth, easy-working hydraulic systems provide a big lift for every job. This lever controls the single rock shaft for the 1010 utility tractor. The 1010 row crop tractor is available with either a single system or with a dual hydraulic system. These 2 control levers operate the dual rock shaft. The dual rock shaft on the 1010 row crop tractor helps you perform such functions as delayed lift of cultivator rigs. The front rigs may be lifted first, then the rear ones as the implement finishes out a row. For greatest lifting power, the dual arms on the rock shaft may be pinned together as shown here. Then a rock shaft selector valve is positioned to combine the capacity of both hydraulic cylinders. Will the operator please turn the record? A versatile rock shaft controlled 3-point hitch is available to save time and muscle, give you pick up and go farming. You may use this hitch with a very wide selection of economical Category 1 tools. These include implements for tillage, planting, cultivating, haying, harvesting, and utility work. Attaching is a quick, simple job. You back the tractor, attach the draft links, then the center link. You can adjust the hitch for correct alignment and working position from the tractor seat. Lateral or side-to-side adjustments are made with a hand crank at the top of the right lift link. You make fore and aft adjustments by using the turnbuckle to shorten or lengthen the center link. Sway chains prevent excessive swaying when an implement is in transport. They also permit certain tools, such as plows, to follow contours. The three-point hitch provides an important and exclusive John Deere feature: hydraulic load and depth control. You benefit from a top-notch tillage job at a steady, acre-eating pace with little downshifting, even in tough and spotty soils. The load and depth control is operated by linkage connected to the center link of the hitch. When the implement moves into soil or surface irregularities, the movement of the implement mast is transmitted through the linkage to the hydraulic system, which automatically adjusts the working depth of the tool. 3 holes are provided in the load control yoke for varying degrees of draft. The upper hole is for greatest draft, the lower for light draft. Here, the center link is being attached to the middle hole. For some three-point tools where load and depth control is not essential, gyromowers, hitch-mounted mowers, and others, you can lock out the system by turning this convenient screw. A sturdy, adjustable swinging drawbar is available. You may use it in long or short position, high or low setting, locked in position, or as a free swinging drawbar. Wheel treads, both front and rear, may be adjusted in various widths to suit your needs. Here, the utility tractor is shown with wheels in narrow tread. You can set the wheels at maximum width for greater stability. Front wheel tread settings of both the row crop and utility models range from about 40 to 55 inches. Rear wheel tread range is approximately 40 to 58 inches for the row crop tractor and 43 to 60 inches for the utility. Here's the row crop tractor, showing how the wheels are offset to give you an excellent view of the row for precision cultivating. Rear wheels may be power adjusted within a range of approximately 42 to 62 inches, using engine power for a fast, easy job. Power steering, first introduced by John Deere, brings you true fingertip turning, even in soft, loose, or muddy soil. When the tractor engine is not running, the tractor may be steered manually. Power steering takes much of the hard work out of tractor operation, helps keep you morning fresh all day. You work with ease, even with heavy front-mounted tools, such as this 35 loader. This deluxe seat erases much of the bounce and jolt ordinarily encountered on rough fields and roads. The seat shown here is for the 1010 utility. A deluxe seat is also provided for the single row crop tractor. The seat offers firm yet cushioned support to help you stay relaxed all day. The seat regularly furnished has a deep spring cushion seat, cushioned backrest, and is easily adjustable. Sidearm cushions are available. The single row crop seat may be adjusted to an offset position using this convenient lever. Clean, uncluttered tractor design and offset adjustment of the seat give you an unobstructed view of the row while cultivating. The design of the 1010 tractors permits you to stand and stretch your legs with the tractor on the go. Fast, easy servicing is another plus value of the 1010 series tractors. The battery is conveniently located at the rear of the engine. It slides out on a tray for quick checking. An access door permits easy checking of water level and filling of the radiator. For night work, a complete 12-volt electric lighting system is available. It includes headlamps, a rear lamp with both red warning bulb and bright working bulb, a panel light, and a plug-in socket for implement warning light extension. Headlamps are sealed beam units in shock-proof rubber mounts, which help prolong life by absorbing jolts and shock. Bright and dim positions are provided. Here's a tractor warning lamp which swings out to the side. The intermittent flashing red light warns others of your position. Front end and rear wheel weights are recommended for use with some tools. Regular equipment on the 1010 tractors includes speed hour meter, oil pressure gauge, and indicator lights to show battery charge and water temperature. Also available are a fuel gauge and cigarette lighter. The 1010 diesel engine is equipped with glow plugs to make starting easier. The convenient key starter switch shown here provides a glow plug position for preliminary warm-up. This fuel shutoff control is provided to stop the diesel engine. On gasoline tractors, a choke control occupies this position. During the past few minutes, we've only hit the high spots of these great new generation John Deere 1010 series tractors. Now, we invite you to field test one of these new tractors on your own farm, under your own field conditions, and at your own convenience. There's no cost or obligation. Let's make a date to demonstrate one of these tractors on your farm soon. tractors, abundantly powered with diesel, gasoline, or LP gas engines. Two great models, either of which can carry the full workload on many row crop farms. Here's the low-built, sure-footed 2010 row crop utility, the new pace setter among tractors for all-round work. The easiest mounting tractor you ever saw. It hugs the ground for great stability on slopes, yet it gives you nearly 20 inches clearance. and it handles all kinds of equipment, including front-mounted 4-row cultivators. Here's the 2010 row crop tractor, a real champion for broad versatility. It handles tools for the complete farming job, including mounted corn and cotton pickers. Comfort and convenience, as never before, are woven into the design of these new generation tractors. But the big, overshadowing story is the matching of new variable speed engines and new synchro-range transmission to produce more flexible, more efficient power than anything in farm tractor history. With the engine throttle and transmission shift lever, you have complete command of fully flexible power. Power that performs with great efficiency when the engine is revved up and the transmission is in a low gear for heavy jobs, and with utmost fuel economy when the engine is throttled down in a high gear for light jobs. Here's flexible power at its best, an infinite number of ground speeds, from a slow creeper gear up to nearly 20 miles an hour. It's efficient, full governed power all the way. Heart of this power team is the John Deere 4-cylinder variable speed engine. It's brand new, yet fully tested, built to John Deere's exacting standards. This speed hour meter shows controlled engine speeds from 600 to 2500 RPM. From 1500 to 2500 RPM is the full governed operating range. Up to 45 horsepower can be delivered instantly on demand. You control the new synchro-range transmission with this handy lever. As you move the lever down through 8 forward positions in 4 ranges, the speeds increase progressively. Each range offers many speeds. In range 3, for example, 5th and 6th forward positions provide all ground speeds from about 5 miles to about 11.5 miles per hour, and reverse speeds of about 5 to 9 miles per hour, according to the throttle setting of the engine. Collars, shown in the transmission here, are shifted instead of gears. Synchronizers make on-the-go shifting within each range fast and easy. Every 2010 tractor has this speed hour meter, which shows engine speed, power shaft speed, ground speed, and total hours of operation. You can tell at a glance what your power team is doing. An efficient foot clutch leaves your hands free to steer and handle equipment. Individual, self-energizing, disc-type brakes provide quick positive stops and aid in making short turns at row ends. Another important feature of the new generation of earning power is the new big-capacity hydraulic system. With dash-mounted controls, this system offers you equipment control through 1, 2, or 3 independent hydraulic circuits. You have single rock shaft, dual rock shaft, and remote cylinder control. This gear-type pump provides live hydraulic force for fast operation of all hydraulic functions. An abundant reserve of oil supplies both the transmission and the hydraulic system. This pedal disengages the hydraulic pump while the engine is being started, makes it easier to start your engine during cold weather. Here's the rock shaft lift arm shown in high position and low position. With the wide range, you can raise 3-point tools up high for transport and penetrate the soil fast and deep with tillage tools. A front rock shaft operates by linkage from the rear rock shaft for either single or dual function. Hello there. We're happy to have this opportunity to talk to you for a few minutes about our new John Deere 3010 and 4010 series tractors. And we would like to show you why these new tractors represent a new generation of power, the biggest advancement in farm power in decades. First of all, these tractors are original in design, from front grille to drawbar. They were born of your needs, not just for today, but as Deere engineers see them projected in your future. The new 3010 row crop quickly points up the clean styling and the modern functional design of these tractors. It features a new John Deere-built 4-cylinder engine which delivers 55 horsepower at the PTO. The brand new 3010 row crop utility is a low-built tractor with excellent stability characteristics. It handles a 4-bottom plow and can be equipped with a 4-row front-mounted cultivator. It offers a full 21-inch crop clearance. And here's the big one. The most powerful row crop tractor ever to bear the name John Deere, the new 4010. It's a big 6-cylinder tractor that develops 80 horsepower at the PTO. You'll be quick to appreciate the big work capacity and speed these tractors offer. For instance, this 4010 will handle a disc harrow ranging up to 18 feet in width, and a 5-bottom pickup plow at maximum working speeds. This tractor will also handle an 8-row planter at speeds up to 7 miles per hour. And here's good news. Now you can choose gasoline, diesel, or LP gas engines, each specifically designed to handle its particular fuel with traditional John Deere efficiency, economy, and dependability. Already these tractors have been field tested through 5 crop years. With the hand throttle, fully governed power is available anywhere in the working range, 1,500 to 2,200 RPM. On PTO or belt pulley jobs, engines run at 1,900 RPM. Variable speed engines provide much greater flexibility and adaptability to each job. The foot throttle gives you even higher engine speeds, up to 2,500 RPM. This provides a speed of almost 20 miles per hour for transporting equipment or highway travel. The foot throttle can also be used to override the hand throttle to increase engine speed when required. the new John Deere 5010 tractor. With its 117 diesel horsepower, it's matched to the need of grain growers and other farmers who require a heavy-duty standard-type tractor. Here is a truly fine investment for the large acreage farmer, for those with heavy tillage requirements, for the man who simply wants to get his work done in a hurry. Equipped with deep-lugged cane and rice tires, and with its sturdy construction radiating from every line, the 5010 is more than a match for difficult rice-growing conditions. 5010 Power pulls loads faster, features John Deere lugging power, costs you less per acre to use. No longer is the weather so critical a factor. No longer is acreage expansion out of reach. The limits of equipment size have been rolled back and the number of operators reduced. To point up the tremendous capacity of this new tractor, let's move out to the field and watch the 5010 in action. Following in the wake of the combine, this 5010 is pulling a 32-foot span of disc tillers in tandem. Same tractor, this time with a 22-foot tool carrier handling a big assignment in short order. Even this LW 27-foot tandem disc harrow does not overtax the capacity of the new 5010 tractor. It simply continues to eat up the acres. These 5 LZ 1010 drills cover 40 feet in a swath and do their best work at speeds up to 5 miles per hour. The 5010 obliges, providing this exact speed in 4th gear at 1900 engine RPM. At this part throttle speed, think of the fuel saving on this job alone. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the outstanding features of this newest John Deere new generation tractor. This powerful John Deere-built 6-cylinder variable speed diesel engine delivers economical and efficient power over a wide working range of engine RPM. You can use all or any part of this power as your job requires. This new engine reflects John Deere craftsmanship and quality construction at its best. Large intake and exhaust manifolds, a 7-main bearing crankshaft, automatic forced engine ventilation, full pressure lubrication. These and many more features contribute to the fine performance and long life of the tractor. A new John Deere Synchro Range transmission assigns engine power into these 8 overlapping speed ranges, tailors power and speed to your most exacting job requirement. Choose any speed between a little over 1 to more than 20 miles per hour. A tire of brand new size, 24.5 by 32, is introduced on the new 5010. Note the size of this tire in relationship to the operator adjusting the wheel tread. This tire places a 2-foot tread width per tire on the ground, providing excellent traction and flotation. Weight carrying capacity of the tire is also increased. Both regular bar type and cane and rice treads are available. Front tires also are extra large, 1100 by 16, to provide excellent flotation in loose, sandy, or wet soils. Will the operator please turn the record? It's easy to see that John Deere comfort and convenience are provided in full measure on the new 5010 tractor. The posture-designed seat, roomy platform, and the convenience of all the controls will make long hours at the wheel much more pleasant for you. This seat, another new generation feature on the 5010, adjusts to your weight and height to place you in proper relation to the controls and to provide greater riding comfort. The seat moves out of your way to let you stand, with room to spare, whenever the mood strikes. Large rear fenders extending well out over the side and rear of the tires, plus shielding on both sides of the tractor, offer greater protection from dirt, dust, mud, and snow, provide for much cleaner tractor operation. Convenient steps and handholds permit fast, easy mounting of the tractor from the side. On 5010 tractors not equipped with a 3-point hitch, a handhold and steps are also provided for mounting from the rear. Instruments are grouped on a slanted and lighted instrument panel for easy reading from the seat or platform. Controls are systematically and logically placed for fast operation without stretching. On every tractor job, you'll appreciate the speed and ease of John Deere power steering. It's regularly furnished as an integral part of the hydraulic system and delivers smooth power to turn the front wheels through powerful rams located on each side of the tractor. Big capacity power brakes are regularly furnished to permit extremely short turns, maximum field maneuverability, as well as to stop heavy loads. Brakes are differential and can be operated individually or simultaneously as required. These dash-mounted controls put live hydraulic muscles to work, raising, lowering, and adjusting the king-size equipment with fingertip ease. The 5010 can be ordered with 1 or 2 double-action remote cylinders. John Deere-built breakaway couplings provide fast, easy connection of hose lines, even under pressure.